What if I told you that the most effective prison ever designed has no walls, no bars, and that you're probably holding it in your hand right this second? We're going to explore a really provocative idea today, that we willingly carry our own cages with us everywhere we go.
Now, this isn't some brand new idea. Way back, the author Aldous Huxley had this chilling vision of the future. He saw a world where control wouldn't need force or fear, because people would be taught to actually love their own slavery. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's a really unsettling thought, and it brings up this huge question. How on earth could anyone be brought to a point where they love their own prison? How does that even happen? Let's unpack that. To get to the bottom of this, our journey starts with Aldous Huxley's 1932 novel, Brave New World. The whole argument we're digging into today is that this book, well, it wasn't just a story, it was a prophecy.
And here's the core of his idea. You see, Huxley realized that true, lasting control wouldn't come from iron chains and pain. No. He saw that the most powerful control would come from the exact opposite, an endless, overflowing river of pleasure, comfort, and distraction, the kind that just keeps us satisfied and passive.
And this quote just nails it. The idea that we would willingly trade our own empires, our potential, our ability to build something real and meaningful, all for just a quick 5-minute hit of pleasure. The argument is we're making that trade every single day.
Okay, so how does an idea from a novel written almost a century ago become our reality? This next part explores what's been called the pleasure prison and the search for our own modern-day version of Huxley's fictional drug.
So in Huxley's world, they had this thing called soma. It was a drug, and anytime someone felt even a little bit uncomfortable or sad or anxious, they'd just pop some soma. It didn't fix anything, of course, it just made them forget. It kept them happy, it kept them compliant, and, this is the key, it kept them from ever growing. So that begs the question, right? What's our soma today? The argument is that it's not a pill you swallow. It's a digital cocktail. It's the dopamine hit from likes on social media, the endless matches on dating apps, the infinite scroll of streaming shows. It's the whole ecosystem of getting what you want right now. And here's the real kicker. We usually think of pleasure as something that gives us energy, that fuels us. But this argument says the opposite is true. This constant, easy pleasure doesn't actually inspire you to go out and create or build something. It sedates you. It numbs the very feeling of discomfort that's actually the spark for all personal growth. So you've basically got these two paths in front of you. On one side, there's the path of comfort. It's all about consuming, feeling sedated, and it leads to weakness and stagnation. And then you've got the path of growth. That one's about creating, about taking on challenges. It's harder, for sure, but that's where strength and real development come from.
Now, this prison has another layer. It's not just about pleasure. It's about what's being called the validation trap. This is the idea that our self-worth has basically become a kind of currency, one that we trade for likes and matches and comments. The idea here is simple, but it's sharp. If your confidence, your sense of who you are, depends on what other people think of you online, well, then you're not really in the driver's seat anymore. You become predictable. You start tailoring what you do and say to get that next hit of approval, and ultimately, that just makes you weaker. And you see this cycle playing out all the time, right? You post a picture and you can't help but check for the likes. You swipe on an app and feel that little rush with every match. Maybe you even find yourself changing your opinions just a little bit to fit in better. Your entire mood for the day can hinge on what a bunch of strangers on the internet think. You know what? Let's just pause here for a moment. After hearing all of this laid out, what do you think? Are all these modern pleasures really tools that are making us more free? Or are they, like this argument suggests, just a really comfortable, gilded cage that we're building for ourselves? Seriously, I would genuinely love to read your perspective on this, so drop a thought in the comments. So this all brings us to a kind of crossroads. The argument is that, right now, every one of us is facing this fundamental choice between two totally different ways to live. And here's the choice, laid out in the starkest possible terms. Path 1 is comfortable slavery. Just keep consuming, keep chasing validation, always pick the easy option. Path 2 is difficult freedom. This is the one where you create, where you build your inner strength, and you intentionally choose challenges, because you know that's where the real growth is. And that's what makes this whole thing so insidious. It gets right back to that quote, A prison is most dangerous when the inmates don't even know they're inmates,
when they actually love their cells. The cell is comfy, it's entertaining. Why would you ever want to leave? People will even start defending their own distractions.
But okay, what if you do want to leave? What if you see the cell for what it is? Well, this last part isn't about doom and gloom. It's about the way out. It's about reclaiming your kingdom, that inner world of your thoughts and your values, the one place that belongs only to you.
And this requires a huge mental shift. Our whole culture tells us that freedom is about having the ability to get whatever you want, whenever you want it. This argument says no. True freedom is the exact opposite. It's about mastering your wants. The person who can control their own desires is infinitely more powerful than the person who's controlled by them.
So how do you even start? Well, here's a kind of 4-step path. First, you just have to recognize the trap for what it is. See it clearly. Second, make a conscious shift from consuming to building. Create something, learn a new skill, anything. Third, actively practice delaying gratification. And fourth, work on developing a sense of self-worth that comes from inside you, not from anyone else.
And when you think about it like that, this isn't just self-help, it's something bigger. In a world where entire industries profit from your distraction, the simple, quiet act of choosing where to place your focus, that becomes a revolutionary act. And so that's where we land. The argument is that this prison door, it isn't locked. It's not even closed. It's wide open. The choice isn't about some epic jailbreak. It's simply about deciding to stand up and walk through the door. The only real question left is, will you? If this exploration gave you something to think about, consider subscribing to Mindscope Philosophy. We're all about digging into more ideas that challenge the way we see the world. Thanks so much for your time and your attention.